Alright, in this Learn in the Groove tutorial, we're going to explore the blues shuffle. So I'm going to build up the groove with a range of techniques, and you can copy me, you can just use it for inspiration, or you can zone out, do your own thing. But that beat's going to keep going, so you've always got that metronome there, so you can practice in the pocket. Okay, we're in the key of F, and first of all I want you to hear that subdivision. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2 and a 3 and a 4. So we're feeling 3 subdivisions per beat, and still feeling it as 4 beats per bar as usual. Alright, so let's start with our left hand. I'm just going to outline the 12 bar blues progression, just with root notes for now. So 4 bars of F, and now we go to our B flat. And notice I'm trying to accent that 2 and 4 beat, because that's our backbeat. That's what we want to feel. Alright, let's just make that left hand a little bit more interesting. I'm going to make them fifths, and we'll talk about how we do the rhythm. So we can just do this kind of moving fifths, still really accenting that 2 and 4. Yeah. If we want to feel that subdivision, we can kind of do a pattern like this. Notice my top fingers are kind of doing the work, and I'm kind of tying that bottom one, making it nice and lazy. Now when we're playing, you might do this in a band, or you could just strip it back. For this video, I'll probably just strip it back to root notes, and for the sheet music, I'm just going to keep it to root notes as well, but you can kind of do variations of that left hand. Alright. Too easy for you, feel free to have a jam along with your right hand, but I'll just go through it so we're building it up step by step. Alright, next up we're going to talk about shell voicings. So shell voicings are basically the essential notes in a chord, and we've got 3 chords in this chord progression. We've got our F, which has a third, a root, third, and a 7th. Now I'm going to invert that because that's the preferred shape I want to use. So 3rd and 7th and root. When I go to my B flat, my 3rds and 7ths just slip down to the notes there. So we've got root, 3rd, 7th, like that. So we've got our F and our B flat. And finally we've got our C, 3rd and 7th. So see how those 3rds and 7ths just move really close to each other. Alright, let's do it in the 12 bar blues progression. I'm going to drop it down an octave to give it a bit of grunt. And I'm really still feeling that backbeat. A 2, 3, 4, a 1, a 2, 3, 4. Really important to get to know these shell voicings, because these are the essential notes of the chord. If nothing else, this will outline the harmony. Alright, so now we'll use that shell voicing for an idea, but we'll just extend these chords a bit more. So all I'm going to do is add the fifths on the F. So we've got that shape. When we go to our B flat, we'll just move our shell voicing but keep the note the same, and that gives us a B flat 9. Really great sound. F7 and B flat 9. And for the C, we'll just use that same kind of idea and put the D on top to create a C9. So let's do it in the progression. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm adding a few little feathering notes in the left hand just to feel that subdivision. Da, 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 da. It doesn't really matter what those notes are because they're not contributing to the harmony. It's more about the rhythm. Feel those voicings. B flat 9. What a sound. Smash that baby. Whoa. C9. And you can see already I'm starting to vary up my voicings. So like anything in this tutorial, just use it as a guide and explore, create, make your own voicings, make your own rhythms. Now let's look at syncopation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my right hand steady, but I'm going to really smash out those syncopations in the left hand. I'll show you what I mean. So a 1, 2, 3, A4, A1, 2, 3, A4, A1. Let's do it across the progression. 2, 3, A, A. Notice I'm kind of hitting the root note on the 1 when the chord changes. C, B flat, F. Let's do the same thing, but the right hand will do the syncopation. 3, A, 2, 3, A. And you can make your own variations of these syncopations. This is just a guide. Notice I'm anticipating the chord before the measure, so into F7. See what I mean? Let's anticipate all these chords coming up. Into C, into B flat, into F. Yeah, that's it. And 1, 2, 3, and... Alright, what have I got next for you? I have... parallel chords. I love this stuff. Alright, so we're going to have a look at the F Mixolydian scale. It's basically a major scale, but we flatten the 7. And just really just seeing that there's just these 2 black notes in that scale. And I'm going to take a chord shape, in this case a second inversion shape, and I'm going to move it up that scale. Get used to that combination of notes under your fingers. Because once you've got this, you can do all sorts of cool stuff with it. And I'm going to show you something really common in a second. Alright, so let's look at a way we can make a groove with these parallel chords. Here we go. 2, 3, and... moving between these 2 shapes. When I change to the B flat, I make sure I flatten that A, because the A natural doesn't really fit with that chord, see? And C. You can do all sorts of stuff up the scale. I can do it in that B flat position if I want. And the C. Break down these grace notes I've been chucking in. So basically our guide note is this A natural because it's that part of that shell voicing, that major third of the chord. So I'm really wanting to kind of slip into that. And to do that, what I'm doing, I'm not doing like a flick before the chord. I'm actually hitting the chord all together and then slipping afterwards. It's part of that subdivision if you hear it. So da So it's all part of that locking into that subdivision. So you can do all sorts of combinations with that. I'm also going to branch out and try some other shapes, so these first inversion shapes, where I've got like the smaller interval there and the wider interval there, as opposed to that. So just moving that middle note really. So a 1, a 2, 3, and notice the variation I'm using in my left hand. Kind of using this kind of octave idea. See how I was kind of anticipating the bar before? So let's do one more round. There's so many variations you can use with parallel chords. What do you want to come up with? Take this idea and grow from it. Yeah. Notice I like that flat third sound over the 5 chord, over the C. See what you like the sound of. Alright, so that was parallel chords. That was grace notes. Now let's talk about playing through the subdivision. So we've got that, and I'm kind of outlining that really steady there. But what if I wanted to do all I'm doing is right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So just going like that. And we can kind of combine that with different parallel voicing shapes. I'm just showing the rhythm for now. Okay, now let's kind of vary it up. So I had a different subdivision. So it's always that set of 3, so you can do all sorts of combinations. What about 2 right, 2 left? See what that comes up with. And as long as you land it, that's the main thing. See how I'm kind of landing it, creating tension and land. Alright, so that's playing through the subdivision. Now, we've been playing with those parallel chords, and you can do so much with those alone. But let's move on and try some other things. Let's look at just the thirds now. So just looking at this movement. So you can kind of just strip it back, and I'm kind of anchoring on the root note, but there's other little patterns you can do. So let's just have a little play with those. Come up with some ideas, see what you like. play thirds. Now let's look at the inverse of thirds. If I look at those two notes there, which is my third, I can invert it so that A is on top, and what it creates is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're basically just those outer notes of the parallel voicing, but kind of like an opener's sort of shape. Brace notes there. And we can break them up as well. Always try and land it. Always try and... I'll do this. Sorry, I got a bit messy there. Alright, so you come up with some patterns. See what you like in the 6 kind of vibe. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the actual scale that underpins all this kind of stuff, which is the F blues scale. And our F blues scale is in 2 parts, so I think of it as these 3 notes, and then these 3 notes. And smack bang in between these 2 patterns, which are kind of the same intervals apart, by the way, we've got this note in between, which is our blues note. We can create kind of... It's got that really tense bluesy sound. So we can kind of use our comping pattern and make some riffs from the F blues scale just to kind of break it up. 1, 2, 3, and... Get to soloing, which I'm not covering in this video, that blues scale will be your best friend. Certainly mine. So it works, even though it's got that minor sound, it works really well over the major blues, or the... Setting up some patterns there. Okay, some kind of riff there, just kind of making it up. Now that's got a very sort of minory sound, but of course we're in a like dominant 7 scale here, right? So we've actually got another scale that we can use, which is the F major pentatonic. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, back to that root. So kind of like a major scale with some notes missing. And because it's got a bit of a bluesy thing too, if you add this note there. Interesting enough, it is actually the D blues scale, but just starting F to F. And F is the relative of D. But forget it if you don't know what I meant by that. So we've got these notes here. And the main notes I love from this scale is this 6. So I'll do my comping pattern with those 6 building notes from the major pentatonic scale to break it up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Pretty much same riff as I did in the minor blues, but using that 6 note. nice sound there. I'll just do another kind of pattern. Avoiding the A natural on the B flat. So you got that idea of that kind of major pentatonic sound. Alright, what have we got next? What have we got next? Oh yeah, double stops. So double stops is where you've got a riff, but we're using a note on the top. You can hear that kind of really classic blues sound. And at the moment I'm using the tonic note, the root note, the note F on the top to create these cool sounds. And if I'm running down a scale, often when I hit the blues note, I'll just kind of double stop it there. Now, it doesn't have to be the tonic. There's the 7th. And my favourite, the 6th. Listen to that. Oh! Let's try that in our groove. A little bit sloppy. Forgive me, please. See what combinations you like to come up with. I can actually use it over the thirds. Have a look at what I'm doing here. So my thirds are moving, but I'm pedaling with that F on top. Double stops. A roll lick. Check this out. So I'm basically doing our thirds riff, and I'm kind of hitting that kind of minor third there and slipping and outlining this F second inversion shape before I hit a double stop there and land it. The main thing with this is to make sure you're landing it. See how I'm landing it on that major third, on the strong beat. If I'm doing it on B flat, I don't want to hit that A flat, A natural. So I'm just kind of holding it, and then I'm resolving. Let's do it in the progression, see what you think. And come up with your own variations. I'll just keep it straight for you. Sloppy, sorry. Not sorry. Never be sorry. Just be you. Life lessons while I'm doing the rolling. Just be you. Cool, that was the roll lick. let's talk about trills. So that's where we shake between two notes.
One here. So when you hit these two notes here, I'm kind of hitting these outer notes around it. Hear it? Give it that real big bite sound. In octaves, or sevenths in that case. Oh yeah, that's the next thing I was going to talk about. Octaves. So they're cool to just chuck in between our comping. I've kind of gone off track, I'm kind of soloing here, but let's go back to our comping and we'll get our octaves involved. Actually strip the left hand away and do some rootless voicings in my left hand, and I'm actually making the sound thicker with the fifths in the right hand. And every now and then shaking with the trills. Double stops in there. Alright, so there's octaves to create a big, thick sound. So that was kind of the main things I wanted to talk about, but let's talk about some little turnaround phrases that we could use at certain points of the piece. So our last 4 bars, we can kind of do this kind of vibe. So my kind of main thing is just hitting these 6s. I'm actually going to use 2 hands for this because it frees my right hand to do something. I'll show you in a second. Watch this. And I stuffed up the grace note there. I'll try again. What am I doing? And again. And you can kind of slip those grace notes in together. It's a great little turnaround phrase there. So that's something we could do. You could also just kind of do any sort of blues scale and play across the subdivision. All sorts of things you can do in that turnaround phrase. Now another key point of the song
is when we step into our B flat chord. So our fourth bar. So I'm going to use this one, and we're going to start from here, and these thirds are going to step up like this. So in time it sounds like this. 2, 3, and turn around. I'll do that again. So back to F, and we're going to take it to the B flat. Here we go. I've just stripped it back there actually, but you can actually do... You can even start from that shape, I think. Let's see if that works. Not as well, so I like this kind of shape. Alright, now also let's talk about the end. We can do all sorts of stuff at the end. We could do our riff that we just learned. And those ending chords I'm doing are just like a G flat 9 landing on the F9. And it's that rhythm. Do all sorts of stuff as long as you end with that kind of vibe. Anything works. You get the idea, don't you? But I'll just use that kind of turnaround phrase. Alright, I think we've got enough ideas there. Let's just try a bit of a jam with all these ideas together. I'll run the progression 4 times. Again, just make your own variations, see what you come up with. These are just ideas to get you in the groove. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Enjoyed this tutorial. I'll be releasing a backing track based on this groove soon. Check out for that in the comments. Remember to keep it bluesy, keep it in the groove, keep it in the pocket. Just enjoy playing that piano. Thank you for watching.